And there's two mass mind control, mass mind perceptual manipulation techniques that this cult uses to advance its agenda. One I called a long time ago problem, reaction, solution, where you covertly create a problem, you get your unquestioning media, have we seen that or not in the last few weeks, to tell the public the version of that problem you want them to believe, and you want the public to be saying in a state of fear and anxiety or outrage, something must be done, what are they going to do about it? And then those who've covertly created the problem and got that reaction then openly offer the solutions to the problems they've covertly created and blame someone else for. And there's another version of that, which I have called no problem reaction solution. That's where you don't need a real problem, you need the perception of one. There's a no problem reaction solution called human caused climate change, which when you break down the facts as opposed to the propaganda is absolutely unsupportable. And then we come to current events and a colossal of historic, unprecedented proportions, no problem reaction solution, the global pandemic. When you have ancient cultures all over the world who are describing non-human entities, first of all, these entities operate in the unseen, overwhelmingly in the unseen. Because we, like I said earlier, live in a frequency band, a band of frequency. Anything beyond that frequency we can't see, we're not aware of. And, you know, people have no trouble accepting that the old analog system of radio and television stations are different frequencies sharing the same space without interfering with each other unless they're really close on the dial. And the television picks up different frequencies as you change the channel. Well, in the same way, worlds or realities, it's a better term, are sharing the same space without interfering with each other unless they're very close on the dial. That's what we call ghosts and paranormal activity. And so these, not just reptilian, but other non-human entities are operating just outside of the human sight. They have to have vehicles within our frequency band, within our world, that represent their interests. And so particular bloodlines were created that are hybrids, part reptilian, not always reptilian, but part reptilian, part human, which is the origin of the royal aristocratic bloodline whole order of the ages. You know, the ancient Chinese emperors used to claim the right to be emperor because of their descendants from the serpent gods. And the reason that these royal bloodlines and aristocratic bloodlines have incessantly, obsessively interbred is because they're holding this hybrid genetic program. And for a long time, they ruled because they were the special bloodline. What is it? Just down the road from us now in London, we have a head of state, even today, who is head of state because of her bloodline. The Queen. The Queen. If she was a different bloodline, she might be cleaning the throne, not sitting on it. This is the nonsense of it. Why are you Queen? Because someone had sex with someone and that person was born first, therefore they're the monarch. Sorry, I thought we lived in a civilized society with some form of intelligence. What's going on? But across much of the world, as humanity started to awaken a bit more from its civility to these royal bloodlines, they couldn't sustain it any longer. And so the royal in-your-face control started to disperse. It's still around in some areas, like we still have a monarchy in here and the Commonwealth countries, but in lots of countries it disappeared. But these bloodlines didn't. And their sense of being special and being, quote, royal never ended either. And so they moved into the dark suit professions of banking, of politics, of all the dark suit professions, government administration, etc. And they've gone on running the show ever since, while not being overtly royal. And of course, what happened with the so-called Great British Empire, or these other European empires, is these bloodlines went all over the world, and they imposed themselves in the North America, in South America, in Australia, all over the world. And they've gone on controlling ever since. But when you look at the situation from just a general population perspective, everything seems to be unconnected. People seem to be unconnected. But when you go deep into the shadows, they're not unconnected.
And that it might actually be bipolar. Could be that. The doc then predicts how much longer they'll live. Oof. Sick, I know, but I also know you want to hear what she has to say. The doc says if these people don't get help or straighten up fast, I haven't pre-read any of this. Brittany won't make it to the age 30, Lindsay won't see 25, and Michael Jackson has no more than 5 years left. At the other end, Angelina's going to have a long, healthy life, and so will George Bush and Nicole Richie.
If you're not already bipolar.
I hear yelling in the booth. Are they yelling at me for the way I read that?
No, you did great.
Okay.
Speeders have taken over. Now, we mentioned last night stories go around the mountains about the winner-take-all races. Well, the owner of the website who advertises those races told me it's all just a joke. He says it doesn't really happen. He says he put them on his website just to annoy the local sheriff. Russ?
But the mother says that her 16-year-old daughter, the victim in this case, was also arrested here back on September 18th. Now, keep in mind, this is the family story, their account of what they see happened here on campus earlier this month. Unfortunately, we weren't able to reach the school district for comment, but keep in mind, a mother and daughter baffled over how a celebration with cake...
Talking with teenagers and students about Anna and the other kids I met in Latin America, and so far it's been really inspiring.
And not unpleasant. I mean,
well, we'll change all that.
No, we're not going to change that.
Don't change it, please.
We will not change it. We will not.
She obviously hasn't seen the show.
People have been nice, and they're not attacking your dad or his policies to you.
Well, I met with my job. I worked for UNICEF, which is an amazing organization that works in over 150 countries. And my job was to meet with teenagers who were living in exclusion, who were living in extreme poverty or living with HIV, and write their stories, listen to their stories and write them for UNICEF. And so, I mean, I obviously learned so much from these kids. I learned from Anna in particular, who has lived an extremely difficult life. I learned to live each day to its fullest.
Today on Learning, Brent and I are going to show you how to do a lizard eye effect. Open up our After Effects file, and we will zoom in on our right eye here. Is twitching. Ooh.
Nice.
Look at that, Brent. She's a lizard.
That is really creepy.
I feel like it makes me believe.
I mean, listen, I already believed, but you know, this only just furthers my resolve to get to the truth.
Do the sound effect. Yeah, there you go.
In order to walk among us, they disguised their appearance by cloning human flesh over their own reptilian skin. For decades, they've been implementing a plan that will result in the extermination of every man, woman, and child on the face of this earth.
We're honored and privileged to be able to assist mankind with our knowledge and technology.
These posing as humans established themselves in all facets of life, whether it be business, government, religion, the military. It took years. And once embedded among us, they set out to cause worldwide instability. Unnecessary wars, economic meltdown.